Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to game number 3 in this best of 9 series between H2O and LordRaphael. Of course, the score is currently 2-0 in H2O's favour, and H2O won the previous game, therefore he has to pick his civilization first, and then LordRaphael gets to pick afterwards. He cannot play Germany, H2O who's already played Germany in this series, and civilizations do not reset until game number 5. So he's yet to pick his next civilization, and I'm sure he will any moment now. We have raised $150 so far. Really, really happy about that. Thank you very much to everybody here. Of course, we're going to continue to not read out donations unless they're over $10, because they can, they come in so frequently. Thank you so much, but it does interrupt the commentary. But looks like LordRaphael already landing on French before his opponents even picked a civilization.
Yeah. So one thing I want to clarify about the civ selection process, it's not quite SmackDown rules. SmackDown rules is when you lose, you pick second, right? So this is the winner of the first game. So the first game is free pick, blind pick, and then whoever wins that game picks first, and then it alternates. So it's because H2O won first, he picks first in in 2, 4, 6, 8, and LordRaphael picks in 3, 5, 6, or 3, 5, 7, and 9.
I see. All right. Well, that's
it's kind of interesting.
It is interesting. I like that dynamic. I actually prefer that way to the one I said, which is SmackDown rules. Of course, it means it's you don't get constantly the counter cived if you're for winning. Which anyway, the point is here. Looks like still going to play French. H2O, of course, has since he was the one picking second this time, has landed on Japan for this French versus Japan matchup. This is H2O's civilization choice then, by the sounds of it, according to those rules. What do you think of this then, Zuter? You're pretty happy about Japan, right?
Yeah, so it's an interesting choice because, I mean, we saw H2O dodge out of this matchup when he played Diaraga, right? Diaraga picked into this matchup as well, and an interesting choice. This is a map to do it on. This is a fairly low hunt map, which traditionally is going to give French a little bit more trouble, and maybe he is confident enough with the axe that he can make something out of this matchup.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Of course, he does get 2 monks. They'll be wanting to build shrines, but not until, of course, the consulate has come down and has been allied to the Portuguese, which does take perhaps a minute or so, and during that time he can use those 2 monks to run around the map collecting yaks, which are going to be very, very useful on those shrines. So that's, I would imagine, what H2O is going to do. Yeah, going to pick up that Mongol scout right away with one of the monks, whilst the other just walks off into the distance there. Even the cherry orchard also going to go and look for some yaks, and on this map, of course, he's going to come across 2 right here. No, he's going to head back. Looks like he's going to be doing a circle around his base, and the other units are going to be going out, but no doubt he'll find these 2 yaks very, very close to his base there. There is the consulate. Nothing unusual coming out of H2O. Going to play this very, very standard, and I think this in particular is a map we should pay very close attention to see who wins age 1. Of course, the villagers are going to be gathering from the berry bushes, and that gathers at the same rate as the cherry orchard. Does find the 2 cows there. They're going to head back towards his base. But Red picks up 2 cows over here. Let's take a look at the treasures nearby. Looks like he's going to be coming across a 90 wood treasure by the looks of it, Zuter.
Yeah, he's got a 90 wood treasure there, and he's got actually a 50 in base, which looks like he's prioritizing getting the cows to start this game off on, which I think is perfectly fine. But like you mentioned, a big wood treasure here and a decent wood treasure is here. That's definitely something that Japan is going to be a favor of. One other thing that's very quickly worth mentioning here, LordRaphael is opening with a trading post, which as a result is going to mean he's going to have slightly less time to gather yaks as a result. And so if you take a look at the yak skew already, 10 for H2O versus only the 7 for LordRaphael. So slightly in his favor in that regard, and as a result, I think H2O is going to be happy with that, especially now that he's identified these treasures that we pointed out. He's got his shrine building. Most of the yaks have been taken, setting himself up for a nice age 1 here for himself.
Yeah, and I just want to point out, like, the control on these yaks as well. This particular group, now that, of course, it's quite close to the town centre, the monk is going to head off in some other direction, but particularly when we were near this trading site over here, we could see a red explorer building that. It was nearby, and the control on the yak, H2O would bring the yak back closer towards the explorer because, of course, the movement speeds are different, and then send it back towards the town centre, keeping it very close to his units, so that, of course, it would not get converted. He's going to convert them back. No hashtag lazy Zoot Zuter in the chat today. Absolutely, now that I've said that. But we do have perhaps a treasure contention coming in. This is a 90 wood treasure. Both of them are stunned. He's going to use this opportunity to just get on out of here. He's going to reset the Treasure Guardian's HB entirely. Looks like he's going to crack shot it. Oh, wow. And then he's going to go into an engagement with that other lion there. I think H2O wanted to reset the Guardians, or perhaps just particularly get the damage on the red player. 90 wood, though, still going to H2O. Nicely done, and does kill off that native scout there by the looks of it.
And he's out with both of his explorers. Just absolutely 3 games in a row that he's just dominating Age 1. He's ahead in Yax. He steals the treasure once again and kills the native scout for the French player, which is such a strong unit. It's just such a great start for him. He can also teleport back home, and he's got this wood treasure in his base that he can get. Now, it looks like he's prioritizing getting his, perhaps getting his scouts into position, at least one of them into position to continue to shrine, but just another brutal start for H2O, and another Age 1 here in game number 3.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think during some of the H2O Explains videos that I have coming up, that we've already recorded how Age 1 is so important, and how H2O plays Age 1 to get all high level players generally play Age 1 to get those advantages comes out. I think it really does, the way you play Age 1 often separates these higher level players from some of the lower level players. But yes, going to be using the lower HP monk to grab this 50 wood, and the one that has more HP on the front there to start building these shrines up. And there is certainly that.
Yeah, I just want to point out, when it rains, it pours. When things go right, things just go right. You got an insane divine strike to keep that monk alive as well. It's just worth pointing out. I mean, sometimes, when you're good, but when you get lucky, it seems like sometimes when you get all your luck coming in at the same time as well.
He might have put some villagers in the town centre as well, had he seen that his monk was going to die, but then didn't need to because of the divine strike. There's always that, but yes, could have potentially lost that. It is going to continue to build shrines, perhaps safely or more safely near his base. But Zuter, what do you think of the economic theory shipment? That is an interesting one. The score is currently 2-0, but I will reflect that in these lists there. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, I just saw someone asking about it in the chat, so I just thought I would try and keep us up as much as we could. But yeah, interesting choice. 3 CDB and then economic theory. I'm very curious about what LordRaphael is going to do here. So certainly I think one thing that's on the cards is we're going to see a very long TP line here out of LordRaphael. I think we're going to expect to see him, oh, look at this. This is kind of a cheeky thing. We'll get to this in a moment, but we're definitely going to see him taking probably this 3rd trading post as well. And as a result of that, and we can see H2O already preemptively laying down another trading site. If he goes and steals 2 of these trading sites just to block LordRaphael from being able to place down a full trading line with Stagecoach TP, that could be just absolutely brutal. But looks like he's just going to pick up the 1.
Yeah, but either way, that's still a really nice pickup, especially if his opponent is researching the Stagecoach upgrade. Let's take a look there. It doesn't look like it's in queue right now, and it certainly hasn't been researched just yet. Maybe he won't even want to do it now that, of course, that one's been built, or maybe he's going to invest time sieging this down with pikemen rather than shrines. And, this is so far away. It's so far away from his shrines. Well, actually, it's not that far. But either way, it's an extra building. He's going to generate some XP. And it's probably going to get the value out of that before it goes down, even if it does go down there. But, Eco Theory coming out of the French player here. Traditionally not a particularly good shipment, because at the moment, he does have 21 villagers. And that is therefore 2.1 villagers. It does scale over the course of the game, but a 2.1 villager shipment this early on really isn't very much, and it's going to slow him down quite a lot in terms of, like progression over the game.
Yeah, it's just going to slow him down a little bit. But interestingly enough, I'm curious to see what this is going to turn in for LordRaphael. He has shipped economic theory, 700 wood, 600 wood, got his Stagecoach going, but he's also dropped down a 2nd Rex, and he shipped 600 wood, which makes me feel like he may be going back to like the old school Expo Pike style. There's a chance where he just sticks this out in Age 2, which is a Japanese player. I think makes you even more comfortable playing Age 2 versus Age 2.
Yeah, unless you're not expecting it, right? You've seen this
trade
post. Crossbows. Yeah, they've come out. You're absolutely right. 700 and 600 wood going to fuel an Expo Pike build here. And, this isn't aggressive at all. He started with 3 trading posts. Traditionally, this build needs to be fast. It needs to be punctual. It needs to be in your opponent's base on time to do some damage, to start killing those villagers. And, with the 5 pikes perhaps running around the map here, is going to engage these Yumi archers, going to get quite a few of them down, I would imagine. And before they can get out of range, looks like H2O is going to kite back with them. They do have an animation that fires instantly. Does have some pikemen sieging down these shrines here. I wonder how good this build is. LordRaphael must have, worked this out. He must have done this before. He's slowed down so much to go for this trading line, and he's gone for Eco Theory, which is, perhaps a good choice. As France, you do not have a second villager shipment. You can only send 4 CDBs once, and Eco Theory perhaps quite nice on top of that. And as a result of that, he's going to play this Eco style, but with crossbow pikes. Perhaps this is different. Yeah. Perhaps he's tested it. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this works out for him.
I'm very curious. You can tell that H2O was a bit caught off guard as well, because you could tell what his build was going to be, right? His build was going to be the single racks in base, make the 5 Yumis to contest the pikes sieging your shrines all around the map, and you could see the second he poked out, he got kind of caught off guard by those crossbows, and now all of a sudden I think he knows the dynamic of what the game is going to be taking, and we can see Stable coming down. He's prepared to fight this out in the second age himself, and Hussar being trained, caught out a little out of position here.
Yeah, these are only crossbow style units there. Bestiria is not very good against, of course, cavalry, and they're going to be snared here, and that's the important thing. The cavalry not adding that much damage in, but because they've snared, it allows the musketeers and the crossbowmen that LordRaphael has trained to get closer to these blue units, and he has the numbers advantage. He's just going to shoot these down. Now that the cavalry have died, he can get away without losing any attack speed. Is of course going to kite backwards where he can, but and it does have his musketeers. They arrive just a little bit late to help defend this. I'm not sure what they were, perhaps, but the point is, Red did a very good job of killing lots of blue units there, and has even this matchup in favor. He's got a score lead now, and that's even H2O calling his both sets of Minutemen to aid this fight. He's clearly concerned by the amount of units he's lost.
Yeah, and LordRaphael already starting the transition into Cav. We can see he's starting to make the switch over to Muscus to deal with the Yumi Nagi composition that's threatening him, or even the Yumi Ashigaru threat that there is. We can see a couple Nagis coming in from the back, and 8 crossbows coming out for LordRaphael. Looks like we're just going to have another big brawl here right on top of LordRaphael's French barracks.
Yeah, and he does have more military unit population at this point, 43 compared to 33, so I think he's happy here. And of course, Japan military unit population, you get more bang for your buck, because of course Ashis are much stronger and still only count. They do cost a lot more resources, though. It's risky fighting by an opponent's base because of reinforcing unit batches, but I guess he wants to get the most out of those irregulars and sentries before they were to lose too many hit points and be entirely worthless there. LordRaphael really worried about losing this location here. He doesn't want these barracks to start being sieged, and is timing his Minutemen in accordance with when his next batch of musks pops out, and done that very, very nicely here. But now that the blue has seen the Minutemen, he's not going to want to continue fighting. He's going to wait for those Minutemen to go down to 150 hit points, and I think that's an overall win for H2O. They're called out 300 resources worth of Minutemen, which are going to be not worthless, but certainly diminished very, very much.
Yeah, and this is a huge win for H2O. He's going to be able to clean this up. His army absolutely smashes LordRaphael.
Coming in, are the Nags going to get back? I'd love to see that. Yes, they do. Look at that. They're going to run around. Actually, those pikes are so low. Going into cover mode, the remaining ones there, to soak up some damage. But getting back there, just going to shoot them down with these units. And yes, you're right. Do you want to continue?
Yeah, I mean, and even if he wasn't absolutely smashing this fight, look at where they're fighting. They're fighting way up here on French's side of the map, and even if this fight's not going ideally for Japan, which it is, don't get me wrong, it's absolutely going great for Japan.
Is it though? We do have 5 Cav entering the fray. I suppose he does have a number of Ashies there. I think this is absolutely in his favor. Yeah, you're right. But 5 Cav definitely going to be helping him out against the Yumis here.
Yeah, and he's got a reinforcing batch of Cav of his own coming in here. But the important thing is, even if this fight doesn't go great for him, look at what he's doing behind this, right? He's been able to get up his market. He's still sitting at 130 shrine pop. He's got good market upgrades. He's improving his composition. He's progressing down the shipment path that he needs to be getting to. He'll be able to send upgrade cards, either Yumi attack or Ashi attack as his next shipment. Maybe the Daimyo comes into play as well. And during all of this, he's truthfully continuing to have a strong economy. He's not getting cornered up in his base, which is so often what we see the Japanese player happening when they fight against this kind of aggression. And I think he's going to be perfectly happy with the way that this game is going. The one thing that is somewhat concerning is for the entirety of this match so far, LordRaphael has had basically 4 Stagecoach TP uncontested, and that's probably something that H2O is going to want to look to shut down here before he begins transitioning into trying to kill the resource locations that LordRaphael is currently gathering from.
Yeah, and I think that's something he is looking to do right now. Bringing these, by the looks of it, sentries over towards this red trading post here with the other units where they're going to be stronger and less easy to pick off. But yeah, also H2O cleaning up the pikemen that are around on the map, and of course that represents the military unit population for red, and when they're separated from the main army, they're much easier to kill, killing them off whilst they're sieging the shrines, saving his shrines, and now, by the looks of it, is going to start killing these trading posts, and that's absolutely the thing to be doing, right? Even has the 1 HP sentries all in the back there, so that they're perhaps more defended. They only have 6 siege, so it's not like they're losing that much on this trading post there, but they can stay safe and then get in the fight, and red is going to have to spend APM shooting those down. But we do have another engagement here. Looks like LordRaphael doesn't want to lose his trading post and has managed to mess up a fairly nice army there, and once all of the Naganatas go down, it's just going to be Hussars on Yumis, and you can already see it on this side, right? These 5 Hussars are going to be taking a while before they get into combat with anything else, and that's sad for for the red player, but still, looks like he's going to clean this up, and Daimyo Mototada just arriving now, and it's not in time. If it had arrived a little bit sooner, this fight perhaps would have gone better, have an extra really strong unit and all of the extra bonuses here, but red does clean this up by the looks of it, but only barely. I'm not sure how long about to hold on to this location, but does keep his trading posts for another day.
Yeah, it's actually really, really even. And just looking at the economic unit population, you have to realize that when you factor the calculator in, these TPs actually don't get counted. Yep. And so, truthfully, you could count these TPs as like 14 to 16-ish villagers. So the economic unit populations are really, really close. It's like 54 to 56, I would say, right now. So it's actually economically very, very even. And a couple of humans going down, but the important thing, the one thing that I've said before about the longer the games go with Japan is these hunts are going to get starting to dry out, and LordRaphael has to be able to contest the shrines, or he's not going to be able to continue to eat food at this point, and then he'll just kind of run out of steam. If he can successfully siege down the shrines and just get somewhere to gather with his villagers, he'll be okay, but we can see, he's definitely starting to run a bit thin on hunt, and that can be concerning as the game continues to progress.
Yeah, absolutely. He does manage to pick up this location here, which is have a coin mine and some food nearby. So, of course, the 2 coin mines nearby, actually. So he's going to have some nice resource spots for the time being. But Hunt, you do blow through it very, very quickly. And as you mentioned, this spot is running out fast. H2O, of course, as the Japanese player, what do we have flared on his town?
He's aging.
Is he? Okay, that changes the dynamic of this game considerably then. So, is he going to be able to control the hunts for the time being? His army's not going to be getting any bigger. Where is he going to be gathering hunts? He is going up, and yes, that's a very good choice if he can get up without his opponent punishing too much. If his opponent doesn't push his town center right now, then he's in a good spot. Looks like H2O is heading towards this gold mine, and if he can't get the gold, if he can't get the resources needed to train those skirmishers and those dragoons, those more powerful Fortress Age units, he's going to be in a bad spot. But LordRaphael up very quickly with the age up fast option there. He does have a shipment ready, which has now been sent, and this is where blue will probably start attacking his opponent's town center directly, go towards this base, and hopefully catch out with, he's hoping for some military units, shipments that might pop out. But these villagers getting killed on the back foot. But he is now up, Zuter, and that's good for him, right? But also very, very bad. For him.
It's scary for H2O because you have to make a very hard decision as Japan right now. Do you send 600 coin as your next card and try and follow up in age and potentially lose the entirety of the map? Or do you continue to fight in age 2, rest on your laurels, know that you have Ashi attack and Yumi attack sent, you have a daimyo, you have very strong military units just in age 2, and try and just fight your age 2 units versus his age 3 units.
10 skirmishers or thereabout do pop out of the barracks there, but the Naginata is going to get into hand combat with these and snare them, keep them there very quickly, and even if they weren't there, the Ashigaru Musketeers do have very fast movement speed, could catch up with those skirms. They all go down. That's a huge loss for the red player. He really needed to keep those those alive. Part of the bonus of aging up so quickly was to spend those resources on them, but now looks like both these Raxes are threatened. More skirmish is going to come out, but you know, they're next to the barracks. They're not near the main army. The main army is not growing any bigger because the units that are arriving are being killed as they arrive. 3 cuirassiers plus 5 from a stable have been trained. That's a lot of cuirassiers. These are very, very strong.
So
this is a
many,
big power spike, but there aren't really any Yumis here, which are really what these are going to be very strong against. Looks like, though, he has got a big army and is going to fight now, and looks like he's going to do lots of damage, but could have kept those skirmishes. If the skirmishes had been alive, imagine the position he'd been in.
Yeah,
might not even win this fight.
Yeah, more reinforcements coming in from H2O as well from a good angle. The Yumi's going to be able to pop right on top of the Musketeers. It looks like the Ashi's doing a pretty good job of dealing with the Cuirassiers, focusing them down with their hand attack. And I think
that he's misclicked on the 65 coin treasure as well. And those loyal-tailed macaques are gonna start. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like they've backed up a little bit. But when the dust settles here, I mean, things are very, very even. But what we have to still continue to remember is that H2O is not aging, right? Behind all of this, he's actually got a pretty good bank. He's mismacroed a little bit, but he's still out of coin. He's not aging. And LordRaphael, despite the fact that, you know, he did lose some units, lost a Rex, he still has a single Rex. He's still aged up. And he does have the ability to send some very scary shipments here. 8 skirms coming as the next card.
Yeah, 8 skirmishes does arrive, and that's absolutely what he's going to want. Very, very strong against these Khonshu, Yambushi, and of course the Ashigaru Musketeers as well. Exactly what he wants. Lost all of his skirmishes earlier, needs to add skirmishes to his composition. These villagers, by the looks of it, going to get out of the way. They don't want to be in this location where all of the blue units are. But you're right, he's not aging. But what he does have is considerably more economic unit population. The ability to kill all of these shrines, as Red is only just starting to get units out. Does have 5 more cuirassiers adding in. Those things can be very, very scary in the right circumstances. But often, up against an Ashigaru army, perhaps, they're not going to be particularly good. I'd like to see how these will turn out. I really like the fact that he's training this. A very exciting unit to see. Okay, so he's going to push his opponent off. Does have these 2 trading posts still. Does have the, you know, is in the next age and has access to these stronger military units, but is it going to matter? The blue unit, the blue economy is far better, and he does actually have all military units right now. Can these cuirassiers even it up? They're not going to be like in the sight of those Yambushi, are they?
Yeah, it's definitely not good. I mean, we can see, look at LordRaphael's economy just hung out to dry behind this as well. The CDB in the fight, not where they want to be. The Nagy's in perfect position to be able to deal with the skirmishers. All of the cuirassiers are down, and now the vills are exposed. LordRaphael calls GG.
Yep. And game number 3 does go to H2O. Yeah. The score is now 3-0.
Wow. That was such a close game. An interesting build out of LordRaphael, honestly.
They've all been really close, though, right, these games?
They have. I mean, anytime you have a 20-minute game, you know it's close. I mean, just so very close, just hanging on the thread. Obviously, 2 very equally matched skill players. H2O just getting the better of LordRaphael here 3 times, but it is a best of 9, so it's not even like it's best of 7 and we're on match point. Like, there is still some time for a comeback, and perhaps we'll see that in the next game, because LordRaphael, at the same time, the clock is ticking. He's got to start winning, and winning soon if he wants to have a chance to start catching back up.
That is absolutely right. But this next map will be available on somebody's channel. I'm not sure which. Remember, we're alternating, so if you're watching this, take a look at the channel that you're watching this on and then go to the other one that I mentioned earlier. But do not go anywhere. We will be right back with the next match in this series.